Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for August 7th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 27 live feeds. It was day 30 in the house, and we got some stuff to talk about. It's the final update before the eviction, and there are distinct movements, distinct directions that the house seems to want to go. And with me to talk about it all is Aysha. How you doing, Aysha?
Hi, Taran. I'm doing well. And just to set the stage here, the last time that I talked about Big Brother 27 was on the premiere. So you can imagine how different things are. And it's one thing to casually keep up with updates, listen to you, just kind of read about the day's happenings, maybe put the feeds on in the background while I do chores. It's another thing to intentionally listen to these conversations and you're just like, what is happening? Props to you, Taryn.
I see you also listened to the Mickey Ashley Will conversation last night.
What a conversation. I can't wait to talk about it.
Oh boy. All right. Well, first thing I want to do, actually a couple of things about yesterday. One is I tweeted this out, but there was a quote going around from Mickey saying Jimmy does not carry himself in the ways that God intends. This is, to my best researching understanding, not a real quote. Basically, I've seen this a lot actually, and most of the time it's fairly obvious, and maybe this time it was as well. But with the removal of flashbacks, I've seen a significant amount of fake quotes being posted on the internet that a lot of people tend to believe in ways that never really used to happen in the same way with flashbacks, because the idea that it might not come with a clip is a little more normalized nowadays. There are only some people who are capable of posting clips, and so people are just able to sometimes post a screenshot and a quote, and it feels real, and it can be very devious. It can be very insidious in the ways that it sort of gets into you. I reported on that quote yesterday because I had read it at some point, and in my brain, I thought I remembered hearing it because it was just in passing I saw it. But I went back and I looked and I could not find it anywhere. I do not think it actually exists. Now, to be fair, this is just about that one specific quote. It is not in regards to any of the other things reported that Mickey said, but I always feel like the retraction, the correction should be louder than the misinformation. So here we are. I want to make sure everyone knows, and to be careful on the internet about these fake quotes. If you don't see a clip, or if it's not coming from like an established, trusted source, you definitely need to be careful.
Honestly, not having flashbacks is more damaging. Like, I don't understand why they don't okay, if this was like Big Brother 8, the social media is not a thing, then okay, then you won't have the same impact that you'll have today, where people can just spread misinformation like it's nothing and have no problem doing it. You can't trace it back to the source because it's some no name person with 0 followers, but they'll post something with a screenshot from the feeds. All they have to do is hashtag BB27 and it'll take off like wildfire. So it's just like, the good rule of thumb is if you see something that you're like, whoa, maybe go see if some other people tweeted it. Maybe see if there's a quote. If no one can prove it, it most likely didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, this one a little more lighthearted, bit I forgot from yesterday morning, that did become a little bit relevant today, was P-Gate. I forgot to report on P-Gate, which is that yesterday morning, the day of day 29, it was discovered that somebody peed on the floor of the bathroom. It was pretty gross. And the question was, who did it? Who did it? Live feeders thought maybe Vince because he was the last person to go to the bathroom that night.
Mm-hmm.
So at the very least, he either maybe did it or maybe didn't notice it, didn't clean it up. I'm not sure. But Rachel was pretty obviously convinced that it was a man that did it. And this led to some drama because Kelly ran to Keanu, woke him up basically. He was like in the middle of waking up to say, "Hey, Rachel is accusing you of peeing on the floor." Keanu's words. Keanu then seemingly got into an altercation with Rachel about it. And Rachel said, "I did not accuse you," because she didn't. And Keanu then double checked with Jimmy, who said she did not say specifically you. She just said, "What, we should make the boys clean this up." And so Keanu was like, "Wow, I can't believe I got fooled by Kelly instigating. She's so annoying."
Right. It's just like, girl, you cannot be doing this when you're on the block. You should get so comfortable on the block that she's like, oh, I'm invincible, whether I win the blockbuster or not. But it is a thing. I mean, isn't aim a thing with men? Like, I I just feel like
So just to be clear, my understanding of this was that it went beyond just your typical maybe a
miss.
little bit of splash
Okay.
zone. That it felt like it either intentional or maybe the seat was down or something happened because there was a lot.
Yeah, that is gross, especially for Rachel just to discover it, who's the one who's getting down to even cleaning the wine bottles in the wine room. Like she's cleaning everything.
Mm-hmm. I also, like Kennedy in the chat, thought you were talking about AIM Messenger when you said that,
Oh.
which is a giveaway to our age.
Oh, we're up there. That's our generation, not Zach's generation. So
all right. So now, with that in mind, let's get to Big Brother 27's day 30. Now, of course, the main point of the day is the campaigning trail. Jimmy is on the campaign trail. Riley, of course, is not. Hasn't been for a moment. But Jimmy goes and campaigns. He campaigns to Keanu fairly early in the morning and makes a pitch that is essentially like, hey, I've got 4 locked in votes. In Jimmy's mind, this is Rachel, Ashley, Will, and Ava. He is wrong about Ava, very wrong about Ava, apparently never had Ava. He is now wrong about Ashley and Will because they've been berated into not even considering the option. So he only really has Rachel at this point, but he's saying to Keanu that he has a locked in 4 and that he's hoping he can get at least one more between Vince and Lauren, who are sort of giving him the ring around. And that could possibly make Keanu the swing vote here. He makes a pitch that he is a good shield for Keanu, that Keanu needs big targets in the house, that Jimmy is no longer coming for Keanu in any way, so on and so forth. It's actually a pretty good pitch, and Keanu seems to bite a bit here.
yeah, but it seems like he's so caught up on the am I the swing vote? Like that doesn't make sense. I can't be the swing vote. Like that doesn't make sense. And it's like the rest of his actions for the rest of the day are like triggered by am I the swing vote? As opposed to wait, let me just kind of take a step back and see if I actually want to vote to keep Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. So he goes to Lauren and then Vince to talk to them about this. And yes, the main focus is like, am I really the swing vote? I doubt that he actually has 4. But should we talk about it, Lauren? Like what do you think? Because I am kind of feeling like, because he's talking to just Lauren first, I'm kind of feeling like Jimmy in the game is better for me. You know, he is a bigger target now, or at least a target now. And that's good. And there's like some potential benefits. I think for my game, this might actually make some sense. And Lauren's response is, I don't know. Can we get Vince to talk about this? And he's like, well, I mean, yeah, I was going to grab Vince too, but I figured I'd get your opinion also
Because you're a whole
first.
person playing this game.
And she was like, yeah, but let's just talk to Vince. Let's just grab Vince.
They're gonna get real tired of that. Like
So,
they have to reach a point where that's exhausting because
well,
yeah,
luckily people don't go to Lauren that often, so it's not been a thing yet.
exactly. And to your point about Riley, why is that not a point of conversation? Like, if you're not even going to try to be here in terms of like just campaigning, everyone is just kind of resigned to the fact that Riley is staying and they want to keep Riley. Why is that?
It's actually kind of fascinating. It's really just been like, well, obviously Riley is not an option. Everyone loves Riley. And people are like, Riley is not an option. Everyone, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I gotta keep saying. It's ridiculous.
And like you can see them start to come around on this occasionally where they're like, is it kind of a problem though that like now it's going to be hard to take out Catherine? Because obviously everyone loves Riley and nobody's going to touch Riley. But how do we get out Catherine if we can't touch Riley? And it's like, yeah, you're almost there. Connect the dots.
Right. Then here come Mickey out of nowhere. No, Riley is not. You can't touch Riley. She even said something 2 days ago. Yeah, I guess that would have been yesterday's update. Was she was like, "Yeah, me and Kat are good because I kept Kat and Riley off the block." I said, "Do I need to revisit a chart or something because Riley is on the block?" I'm sorry, what is happening?
Yeah, Riley and Catherine, by the way, do talk a bit. They don't trust Morgan. They mentioned this in the morning that they're fine with Mickey, but they don't trust Morgan, and that they might be looking in that direction as well. They haven't been trusting Zach that much. Although the natural, like Riley just hangs out with the bros way more, and so how much them not trusting Zach, how much does that actually matter? Because like they don't hang out with Mickey ever. So like for as much as they've made this deal, it's like this is not going to work long term if they don't hang out. Mickey and Riley and Catherine are not strategically oriented players. They're not going to have the I would assume they're not going to have the wherewithal to like maintain a secret strategic relationship long term in the game. They're just going to want to hang out with their friends, and so we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, Vinny joins the conversation with Keanu and Lauren, and Keanu pitches a bit for Jimmy to stay. He says Jimmy's better for my game, but he's pretty hesitant here. He's pretty careful about this pitch, and it's also pretty clear that Vince is arguing back, pushing back a bit, saying that Jimmy is a liar. Can't trust anything he says. That's my problem with Jimmy is he's too much of a liar. He's a really good liar too. So and Keanu's like, well, I mean, even if he's a liar, so is Kelly.
Right.
And he references P-Gate. He's like, she's still lying all the time. They're both liars. As far as I'm concerned, they're both pretty similar, except Jimmy's a bigger target now, and Jimmy's now coming for Mickey and Morgan, which is great for me because that's what I want to do. And Vince says, well, actually, Jimmy's claiming he's not coming after Mickey. And Keanu's like, oh, all right, well, I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, we can just send him out. Basically backing off. It's clear at that point that Vince is arguing against Jimmy staying, and I think Keanu stops pushing with Vince at that point. But I will say, Vince, I do think is learning this. He's having opinions. He's pushing his agenda just a little bit more. This is what he needs to do to make the season boring for him to win.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do think that Vince is the one that is the one to watch, like the one that they need to be careful because Vince could have this unlock in the coming weeks because it's going to be one of those things where no, yeah, we can't touch Vince. Like, why would I touch Vince? Just like this week, they can't touch Riley. Like, it just becomes the narrative in the house, and they're going to follow it, and no one's going to push back. Which is good. It's good that they have people in the house like an Ashley, like a Keanu, who are at least like thinking for themselves sometimes, and will voice it, even though people won't hear it. It's, at least they have their own thoughts and opinions about things, but they don't have much influence to do anything with it. Who does have influence right now is Vince.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he still has a lot of sort of recovering to do from the mistakes of the previous 4 weeks, and he is in a lot of danger because of that. If some bad outcomes happen for him, but I really do think if he gets through that, he's in a pretty locked in place. I mean, he's got multiple people in the game that can't function without him.
Right.
So Kelly campaigns to Vince as well. And she basically just asks Vince, like, can I get your, because again, Kelly, I think believes that she can't trust Vince, but that he is very influential in the house and is trying to maintain her connection to him as much as possible in the hopes that he will protect her. This is not actually going to happen. He just doesn't value her at all. And I think she probably recognizes that, but she's trying to pretend like she is still a valuable asset to him at the very least, if not genuinely believing it. But I would lean a little bit more toward the pretending with a little bit of genuineness, just exaggerated. But anyway, she asks Vinny, can you help me? Can you help me against Riley? And he says, well, just tell me which votes you need, which is just a surefire way of saying no.
No, yeah,
how can I tell me how I can placate you in this conversation?
exactly. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, especially someone like, even from Kelly's position, she should understand that Vince has more connections and would have a better understanding of where people are voting. So it's just kind of like, oh, just placating her.
Yeah, she says, can you get Morgan for me? I would really need Morgan. And he promises to do what he can, which of course is not happening.
Right.
So Vince does talk to Lauren about targeting Rachel next week, really as soon as possible. He knows that despite the conversation that he had with Rachel, she is still coming for him. He doesn't understand why. Why is she so locked in on me? I just don't understand. And they talk about how they really want to take Rachel out. They also talk a bit about Morgan. It was a bad morning for Morgan and people talking about not trusting her. Lauren says, because Morgan's been trying to work on Lauren a lot, because in her mind, it's her, Vinny, and Zach, and they're using Lauren. And so she's trying to get in with their pawn, Lauren, when the reality is it's more Lauren, Zach, and Vinny, and they're using Morgan.
Yeah.
And so Morgan is trying to like get in on that. Like, I want a piece of this pawn. And she's been trying to talk to Lauren a lot more. Lauren says, I don't really trust Morgan. Like, sometimes I do, but she kind of sketches me out other times. Like, for instance, the fact that she wants Rachel to make it to jury, that's sketchy to me. I don't trust Morgan because of that. I want Rachel out. Vince says, so do I. And so they are pretty dead set. They would like to target Rachel, but Vinny will be a little more cautious in talking to other people about this, saying, I would only go after Rachel if she is still really after me.
Yeah. I was like, what? Okay. He's like, if we can talk it out and make sure that she's not after me, then I'll be fine.
Yeah. Jimmy also talks to Catherine. He's really talking to everyone, but the Catherine conversation seems to matter a little more because it actually, once again, was a bit effective. He basically tells Catherine, if I leave, I'm going to be saying some things. But don't worry, none of them are directed at you. But just know that, I'm rooting for you. And he kind of is doing that sort of like, I may be on my deathbed, and so here's some wisdom I can impart. I wish you well. You may or may not vote for me, but I do hope you do well in the game, and I'm going to be blowing some people up on the way out, and it's not going to be you.
Listen, Rachel, let him do it for our entertainment. If you would be watching, you would want us to hear that.
He asks Rachel about this afterward. He says, Rachel, I really want to yell at people on the way out. And she's like, well, what do you mean by yell? And he's like, I want it to be like, by a vote of 10-1, Jimmy, you have been evicted. And then I stand up and go, sit down, you fake Fs. And she says, don't do that. And I'm like, Rachel!
Come on. You know what it's like to be a hardcore viewer of this show. And you know you would love that, Rachel. Don't forget about that.
He really wants the fake F line. She keeps telling him no. I get it. It's live TV. It would be against the rules. But like, if they know he's going to do it, come on. You guys are live TV producers. You can be there. Maybe he can just use a different word. Yeah. He says he does want to call out Zach, Morgan, and Vince, and stuff like that. But given what he was talking about, I just don't think this is going to be as effective as it should be. He really should be revealing. I mean, at this point, just to be clear, Jimmy makes a decent campaign throughout the day. He manages to get both Keanu and Catherine, as we'll talk about very shortly, into thinking about potentially keeping him. Largely because they think that he might go after Mickey. And, you know, this is Catherine and Keanu, two people that Mickey thinks she's won over this week, who are like, ooh, he's going after Mickey? That's great. But the problem is that they ultimately don't believe that he really is. And that's because he is trying to have it both ways. He is telling people he's not going after Mickey. He is trying to win Mickey back over to some degree, while also pitching that he's good for these people's games. And I think that his initial approach was fine. I think the Heisem approach of, I was never coming for you, try to win back the people that just betrayed you because they might be able to flip the votes to keep you, is a good one. It didn't work, though. Mickey has hardened her defenses and, despite all evidence to the contrary, fully believes that she still is making the right decision, to the point where she, I think because there's a lot of evidence to the contrary, is like actively antagonistic toward any mention of Jimmy staying. And so at this point, Jimmy, it is time to blow everything up. It is time to talk about the heavy hitters. It is time to talk about triple threat. And it's time to make your targets clear, and just do anything you can to shake things up, quite frankly, before you're evicted, but certainly once you're evicted. Because again, I can maybe understand why he's reluctant to do it, given that he might win the blockbuster. But I still think that like there actually is a shot for him to muster up some votes here. But again, at the very least, once you're evicted, triple threat, heavy hitters, don't trust Mickey Morgan. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, he wants to say, don't, like, if he were to go that route, though, does he also in the same breath say, but also don't trust Zach, Lauren, and Vince? Like, you have to pick a side, because they're just going to say, oh my gosh, he's just going after everybody. But it's like, I get it. He still wants that strong option. He still wants that core that he spent the last 30 days investing in, because if he does win, then okay, I don't have to be concerned that I'm at the bottom. I know I'm at the bottom because I was nominated, but I'm at the bottom of these three as opposed to the bottom of this other side of the house, which I don't even know how many people, you know, are involved from Jimmy's perspective. So it's like, I think he's too sure, and like you said at the beginning, he's too sure on Ava. And the fact that, you know, he thinks, okay, if I have 4 locked in, I need to spend all my time elsewhere. It's like, no, you need to be locking in those 4, because if he had gotten the sense like, okay, I don't have Ava, I don't have Ashley, I don't have Will, then he could have there could have been fireworks yesterday. He could have just been blowing everything, throwing everything at the wall, because whatever, if I win Blockbuster, I'm still in the house at least.
Yeah, I think there's too much of this thought that like, oh, well, I need to keep my cards close just in case I stay. Not that he's saying that, because he's not saying anything about this particular thing. He's not telling people about triple threat. But I think there's actually value to exposing it and then staying. And now you do have like a functional place to work from if you do want to rebuild those relationships, because they betrayed you and you need to have like an appropriate response at that point. You know what I mean?
I think
so anyway.
It just goes to show that he's not the type of player that they pegged him to be, Mickey and
Yeah.
Morgan. Because if he were the volatile player that I don't care who it, whose game I mess up or whatever, he would have been blew this up. But the fact that he's so caught off guard.
He genuinely was so loyal to Mickey that despite everything, he is genuinely not coming for Mickey. Like, he is genuinely still not coming for Mickey, which again, yeah, just goes to show, and not in a way that's like vindictively trying to prove her wrong. Just genuinely is like, no, I'm after Vince and Morgan for what they did.
This wasn't Mickey's move.
Yeah, yeah. So Catherine was a bit swayed by Jimmy. She talks to Lauren as well about keeping Jimmy. That hey, both Jimmy and Kelly are kind of equal in the game at this point, from my perspective. And if Jimmy stays and targets Mickey and Morgan, like, oh well.
Right.
Great person to have kept happy this week, Mickey. And Lauren, now like sort of under the tutelage of what Vinny said to Keanu, replies, "Oh, I don't think Jimmy is going to target Mickey though." And Catherine goes, yeah, I'm fine for him to leave then.
Yeah. It doesn't help that Mickey has been reiterating this too, every chance she gets, that Jimmy is not coming after her, because she truly believes it.
So Keanu talks to Rachel. Rachel tries to campaign a little bit for Jimmy. Keanu says, I agree with you, but I just don't think that I can fully trust that he really won't come for me. And also, I don't think the votes are there. But they do agree that it's not worth it to put each other on the block moving forward, that there are bigger targets. And this is, I think, true from Keanu. I think that he genuinely would just target Ashley, Mickey, Morgan, more so than he would Rachel at this point. We'll see what that means moving forward. He does have a conversation with Ashley later that we'll of course have to get to, but I think this is mostly genuine from Keanu. I think if he won HOH, there would be a lot of pressure for him to put Rachel up, and he might do it. But I don't think he would want Rachel to go home. I don't think she'd be his primary target.
Yeah, and I could very well see a reason for him deciding not to put Rachel up, because if so many people, I think he could eventually get around to the idea and learning that, when so many people are targeting this person, it's good to keep them in the game. Like, I feel like he's learning on the fly.
At some point, somebody surely will think that in this house, right?
Right.
Ashley has her conversation with Rachel, basically tells Rachel, you need to give up on Jimmy. Like, you shouldn't even vote for him to stay. And Rachel says, I don't care. Says, I'm not abandoning him. I'm not going to not spend the last day with him.
Exactly.
So, whatever. This is Ashley has, if you remember her journey through the day yesterday, she was, now this is important. She was having conversations with people like Ava about the pros and cons of Jimmy and Kelly, and was definitely leaning more in the direction of like, hey, we should probably keep Jimmy, but was not, I would say, like aggressively campaigning as such. And she had other conversations throughout that day where she was much more careful. Of course, she thought she could trust Ava, so she was a bit more honest with her feelings. But then when she talked to other people like Zach, she was saying, well, obviously, we're taking Jimmy out. Then at the end of the day, after Ava ratted her out to Mickey and just completely crashed out about it, and apparently just hates Ashley for some reason now, Ashley had a long conversation with Mickey where Mickey seemingly convinced Ashley that Jimmy's no good and had been lying to her. And we talked yesterday about, was that real? Did she really believe it, or was she just pretending to believe it? It seems she really did believe it, at least a little bit. She is a little mad at Jimmy now. And I think part of that might have come from, again, him trying to convince her that Zach doesn't like her. She does believe that that Zach is maybe coming for her or might put her on the block. But I think the added detail of like he was excited to make you a have not, he really doesn't F with you, was a step too far. And on top of that, Mickey is trying to tell Ashley like, hey, Jimmy's been trying to get you on the block every single week, which is just an outright lie. But either way, she is now fully on the side of we're taking Jimmy out. And so she says that to Rachel, and then she has a conversation with Keanu. And he basically wants to confirm, like, hey, I'm hearing that there's locked in votes. I'm assuming that's not the case. And she basically says, no, it's not the case. While I do think that there's an advantage to keeping Jimmy in the game, especially for my game, I'm not willing to go against Mickey's wishes. She's like a sister to me, and we have a great relationship. So I'm not, I'm going to support her decision. And so they're having that conversation. Will ends up joining them. And right after Will joins, Mickey pops her head in. And Ashley's like, oh, come sit. And Mickey's like, And they try to make this like into a joke, right? Like, oh, she doesn't want to come and sit with us. That's fine. And then Mickey just stands there awkwardly for another like 2 minutes. Like, you can just go. Like,
right.
So
we're not pressuring you.
And then Mickey starts doing like oh, don't worry, I'm just counting votes to make sure that you leave next week when I put you up. Like, haha, joke. But the vibe is bad already.
And she brought that energy.
She very much did. So she eventually does leave to let Ashley and Will continue their conversation with Keanu. But it's clear that she was like upset that these people were even talking. And after she leaves, they all agree, Will, Keanu, Ashley, they're not voting for Jimmy to stay. And Keanu had mentioned like, hey, I'm open to potentially not targeting each other, because they've been pretty openly targeting each other. I'm open to potentially working with you, and others. And he's saying like, I'm good with you. Ashley, I'm good with you, Will. I'm good with Mickey and Morgan now. Like, I really think that, we don't have to be at each other's throats. And while they're having that conversation, Mickey goes over to Ava and kind of complains to Ava that like there's something going on. Ava's like, yeah, last night Ashley came to me at like 2 a.m. and was like, oh, I've changed my mind now. Now we shouldn't vote out Jimmy. And I was like, oh God, like, why are you talking to me about this? I don't want to tell you anything. And Mickey's just like, oh, I can't stand her sometimes. It's like,
yeah.
And just like the problem here is the way that Ava is conveying this message.
Yes.
It is clearly slanted in a direction that is like maybe technically true, but so much more like aggressive and sort of like anti-Mickey than it was. Because again, for some reason, she just seems to really not like Ashley.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what the turning point was 2 days ago with that. Like, okay, we're not talking game with Ashley anymore. It's a wrap. It's like a flip was switched. Maybe it was at that moment that Keanu came at her during the veto, but it's just like this perception that she has of Ashley is just like, Ashley is the enemy that wants to be with us and we can't have it. And it's like, yes, perception is reality in this house, but Ashley's not putting forth that energy that Ava's trying to make it seem like, which obviously Mickey, who now it's like in a different timeline of things, has decided anyone who wants to keep Jimmy is an enemy of me. And it's just, it's like, oh my God, it blows your mind what narrative people can create in their head, because like right now on TikTok, I'm sure people have heard of it. There's this lady who fell in love with her psychiatrist, and she's like putting forth all this evidence in her mind of him reciprocating. And it was like a 17-part TikTok series, and literally nothing points to him being nothing but a professional. And it's like, that reminds me of just like, you literally can just, no matter what Ashley is doing in this house, Ava's going to be like, no, this is just another reason that we need to not trust her.
And it's just like, Ava, you can't afford to be picky. Like, even if this was like correct, like, what's your end game? Where are your allies? Like, what do you mean? So meanwhile, the conversation continues with Keanu, Ashley, and Will, and they're talking about the same thing. By the time Mickey finishes her conversation with Ava, they're still talking, and she sees them still talking, and she goes in again. And it's like, oh, haha, now you want now you're coming back. Now you want to be with us. And like, oh, you're finally coming to hang with us. And Ashley's a little like, dang, you look pissed. And they chat for a little bit, and then Mickey's like, so what are you guys talking about? And Ashley's like, oh, well, Keanu was just saying that he's open to, us. Mickey's like, what do you mean us? It's like, I don't know. Like, he said that he's open to not like putting me, Will, you like on the block. Like that's what he was talking about. And Keanu's like, yeah, like that's we were saying that, and we were talking about the Jimmy vote and so on and so forth. And again, the vibe is horrendous.
Yes.
And it only gets worse. It's clear that Mickey is just pissed. And she is ready to chastise. She is ready to ring the shame bell around the shame. Shame, Keanu. Shame, Ashley. She talks to Keanu afterward and is just like, Keanu, why are you talking to Ashley like that? Like, why are you telling Ashley that we're good? We're supposed to be keeping that a secret. Because he was lying to you in the first place, Mickey. What do you mean? Of course he's still coming for you. You shouldn't be telling people that we're good now. We're supposed to be keeping this a secret. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And yeah, even if he was telling the truth about being good with you, I'm sure that this conversation is making him feel extra good with you.
Golden. Look, all of Mickey's actions are a result of her having the first case of HOHitis this season, because I feel like Vinny was okay. Jimmy wasn't as bad as I thought he was going to be. He just went the easy route. Lauren, she basically was an HOH. And then now Mickey has turned into this version of herself that is just like, girl, you're not going to be HOH the rest of the season. You need to calm down. People can talk to each other.
Yeah, HOHitis, classic symptom of the power going to your head as the HOH. And you really feel high on your own supply, right? But usually the counter to that is that if you don't get HOHitis, what we've seen this season so far, it's a lot of people like terrified to even touch the throne, let alone sit in it, right? And so they're so terrified of the power that they're targeting their own allies. And so there's a little bit of like back and forth. It's like, are you an HOHitis HOH, or are you such a scared HOH that you target your own allies? Or do you find the middle ground? And you're a good HOH who targets your enemies without getting HOHitis. Mickey has found the upside down version of that.
Right.
She has HOHitis while targeting her allies.
It's wild. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So then she wants to berate Ashley as well. And she's like, and honestly, I could not recount this entire conversation for you if I wanted to. It lasted too long. But basically, she's. Have you ever been in an argument with somebody and they're just mad at you? And it's clear that the thing they were mad about you for wasn't real? Like, didn't actually happen the way they thought. Like, they thought you did something. They're super pissed about it. They want to berate you for it. And you very quickly go, oh, that actually didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then they're like, but still.
Yeah, they are too prideful to take a step back and realize, wait, okay, how I'm feeling is actually based on nothing. So I still need to be mad about something.
That was the like hour plus long conversation that lasted even longer than just that. But it was about, it felt, I think, like an hour of like very awkward, terrible vibes conversations. It kept circling around. Mickey was saying, why would you say that? When I came in and you said, hey, we're talking about working together, like, why would you do that? We're not supposed to be openly working together like that. And Ashley was like, whoa. I was just repeating to you what Keanu said. And Mickey's like, oh, really? And she wants to get Will involved. And now this is Will's worst nightmare.
Yes.
Because Will could not take a side in a single conversation, let alone argument, let alone game, if it killed him. And he is now in a scenario where even though he always agrees with what everybody says, he now has Ashley and Mickey constantly looking over to, does that make sense, Will? Does what I'm saying make sense, Will? What do you think, Will? Is this true, Will? And he is like, I mean, you both make great points.
Right. I busted out laughing when he said that, because I said he did not just find a way to agree with these two very opposing points. And it's just like, look, I can see it from both of y'all's perspective. And then proceeds to outline it like, Mickey, she wants to keep us private. Yeah, but Ashley, he did say our names before, so that was the us. So I can see it from both sides.
Yeah, and so he does back up what Ashley said, because it was true that in the conversation that Keanu had mentioned those names and Ashley was just repeating those names and really did absolutely nothing wrong in the conversation, because Mickey thought that Ashley was trying to form an alliance with Keanu, bringing up Mickey and all of this, which is just not what happened at all. And so it becomes very clear very quickly, as I mentioned, that what Mickey is mad about is not true.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop Mickey
for being pissed.
So pissed. And she's just it's honestly insufferable.
It is, because she's talking to Ashley as if Ashley is her 11-year-old stepsister she just met last week. And like, it's just like, oh, like, why are you in my space or whatever? And it's just like, this is your peer. Ashley is 25 years old. She is an attorney. She is a player in this game, so she's allowed to play the game. And it's like Mickey has this, I have this better than everyone perspective of this game. I know how this game should be played. You're supposed to change the subject. I don't care if he knows that you were supposed to change the subject. And then when I leave, then you bring me back and we have a private conversation. Don't you know that's what Rachel does? Every time I come in, people know that Rachel and I are good. And I come in, she changes the subject, and then she debriefs me. And then I say whether that's good and that's good. And it's like, you are not in a position right now to be teaching Ashley how to play Big Brother. Because Ashley is like, wait, isn't that how alliances form? Like, people come in together and then you talk about it. Like, isn't that how it works? Will, is that how it works?
Yeah, Will, what do you think about that? She moves the goalpost first to what you said, which is like, okay, well, even if what you're saying is true, I was like, yeah, it was true. Then you should have changed the topic of conversation when I walked in. That's what people do when they're not in alliances. So the fact that you didn't change the topic is an indication to Keanu. You have given away the fact that we are working together to Keanu because you didn't change the subject. Yeah. And actually, like, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I just like, he was talking about wanting to work with you. So I think it would have felt weird if I changed this. I think we maybe just have different perspectives on this. And so what do you think, Will? And Will's like, well, I think you both make great points again. I think that, yeah, maybe we should have changed the subject, but also, yeah, Keanu was saying your name, so maybe it would have felt a little weird. And so Mickey kind of like strike two. And so she's like, but I'm still mad, and I have to be mad about. What about the whole Jimmy thing, huh? Though, were you talking about keeping Jimmy? And she's like, literally, no. I was literally telling him I'm not keeping Jimmy because I want to support your HOH, and that you're like a sister to me. And Mickey's like, really? And Will's like, yeah, that was what we were talking about. And she's like, well, but I mean, what? But like, like yesterday,
But,
like what?
yeah.
Like yesterday, what about those conversations? And Ashley's like, what conversation? I mean, that's what I've been I mean, I've gone over pros and cons. I've literally never campaigned to keep Jimmy in this house. I've literally just done pros and cons. Like, oh, really though? She's like, yeah. Like you didn't talk to Zach? No, I talked to Zach and I told him I'm evicting Jimmy. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's not what Zach is saying. And Ashley's like, hold on, Will was in that conversation. Will, didn't I tell Zach that I was voting out Jimmy? And Will's like,
yeah,
yeah,
you did tell Zach. Yeah, you did tell Zach. But you were not voting to keep Jimmy.
You're nailing the delivery too, because it is like every word is being pulled out. You did.
Come on, Will. You
tell
got it.
Zach that you were voting out Jimmy. Yes, that is yes. And so Mickey's like, oh, okay, wow, okay, but when did you make that decision? When did you? And she's like, when did I make what decision to vote out Jimmy? I don't know. Like at some point yesterday, I don't remember. Was it after we had our conversation? And she was like, I don't think so, because I had the conversation with Zach pretty early in the day. Like, and Will's like, yeah, it was like early afternoon. And she's like, and I told Zach that I wasn't voting to keep Jimmy. And she's like, really? So that's when you changed your mind? She's like, I don't think I even really changed my mind. The whole time I was saying I was going pros and cons. And this is what I told you, that I think that keeping Jimmy makes sense for my game at the very least, but that I wouldn't do it because I want to support you. That's where I've always been on this. And she's like, oh.
And just even like the fact that Ashley is saying yesterday, which is Tuesday, girl, you put him on the block on Monday. Like you expect her instantly. Jimmy hits the block instantly. I'm voting him out. Like she wasn't being reasonable in any sense. And even after all of this back and forth, putting Will in this poor position, they better show this and show his diary room sessions, because I needed to know what was going on in his head. Mickey's still mad because because like you said, she's moving the goalpost. So, okay, can't be mad about that. Okay, she explained that away. She didn't give me an exact time for what time she decided to vote to keep
Ava
Jimmy.
told me 2:30.
Yeah. Exactly. So she's still mad, but Ashley, oh, I love Ashley. She has grown on me. She is so unfiltered. She is going to say what's on her mind, and she's hilarious. But she's like, all right, well, let's like move on to like talking about the house, the dynamics of the house. Mickey's still over there, pissed.
Yeah. Ashley keeps saying, like, whoever told you I was campaigning to evict Jimmy is lying to you, or at the very least exaggerating. And she's spot on. Ava's just full on exaggerating this thing. Will you tell me who it is? And Mickey's like, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And at this point, Will's like, guys, are we not in an alliance?
Yeah. Like, can we put it out there? Like, we're gonna tell each other stuff. We're gonna share information.
At which point, Mickey finds a new. Oh, but I can't tell Ashley things. Like, why? You talk too much. It's like, do I talk? What do you mean I talk too much? Will, do I talk too much? Well, you do say some things. Like what? Like, can you give me an example? I don't have an example. You just do talk a lot. Uh,
It's like you're just making up stuff because you have this thing against me. It's just like so annoying. Like Mickey, you have such a thing against Ashley at this point. Like why didn't you just put her up? Because if you're gonna treat her like this is so unfair. Because Ashley's just like, look, I'm not gonna back down. I actually need evidence and I need to know why you feel this way. And I see you like a sister. So I'm not backing away. I'm not gonna let you just have this tantrum and be mad about me when I know that the reasons are invalid.
yes. So as you mentioned, though, Ashley just like barrels through, which is really, I think, her superpower in the
It
game. It's
is.
what helped keep her off the block during Lauren's HOH, despite the absolutely atrocious vibes and her doing all of the talking and Mickey just being like, mm-hmm. She just keeps talking. And she says, I'm going to assume that it was Zach that told you that because I don't know if I can trust him at all at this point. And goes on to like lay out the entirety of the house structure.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure Lauren sees Vince as her number one, but he's really with Zach and Morgan too. And so those four are pretty locked in. And I think that Vinny and Zach are like huge problems. Man, Morgan is so obvious with how she tries to protect Vinny. Like, we'll be in the middle of a conversation and she'll randomly just bring up Vinny. It would be like if I right now was like, hey, by the way, Ava's a really great person.
Yeah.
She's a really great person and also not coming for you at all. She's given up so much to be here and like nobody, you shouldn't target her. It would be like if I did that in the middle of this conversation randomly. That's what she does for Vinny all the time. And she slowly over time starts to break like it's
so funny.
Mickey finally starts to come out of it. It really is like a child that's mad but can't admit that like that it's done. But then like eventually you're like, so do you want ice cream?
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yes.
yeah.
She's over there still pouting. She's like, so what did Zach lie about? It's like, oh, okay. Now you want information. Got it. You're not mad anymore.
So they keep running through the scenarios and again Mickey comes to the conclusion we really need to take Vinny out of the game. And you know what, I was pretty pissed at Morgan. Really the only reason I didn't put Vinny on the block this week was because I didn't want to damage the relationship with Morgan. When I brought up Vinny, she freaked out. She like broke down, was like, I can't be in this game without him. And they're like, this is a problem.
It is a huge problem.
So eventually their conversation kind of gets broken up. There's meanwhile a downstairs meeting with Vinny, Zach, and Morgan. It might have been Morgan, it might have been Lauren, actually.
Not them being interchangeable. And to that point, Ashley has Mickey's back the way that Mickey thinks that Morgan has her back.
Yeah, and so it was Lauren. So and they're just having the same conversations about like where they see the house and how Rachel is a target and so on and so forth. And so the conversation gets broken up by this because Morgan breaks up the conversation upstairs for a little bit, and then eventually reconvenes with Ava involved this time. And so it's Ava, Will, Mickey, and Ashley upstairs, and Will is like, all right guys, are we an alliance? Like we should be working together and trusting each other. And Ava, I swear, is sitting there like staring daggers at like, what is she doing here?
Who let her in here? We don't trust her.
Yeah, like, wait a minute. I've been trash talking Ashley this whole time, and now all of a sudden her and Mickey are good. Like, what is happening?
Right. It's because you've been napping all day.
So that's really like where things stand. They talked about basically putting Vinny, Zach, and Morgan or Lauren on the block if any of like Will, Ava, Ashley win the HOH. Of course, Rachel would likely do the same. The problem being one of them would need to win HOH in the first place to make that happen, and they are low on numbers. And also, would Ava actually do that at this point? Is quite the question. But on the other side of things, they are very much looking at like the Zach, Vinny, Morgan, Lauren side of things. They're looking at something like Ashley, Rachel, maybe Will thrown in there. They see Will as just a number being dragged along. They would love to take out Catherine, but how do we do it with Riley in the house?
Why does Riley have this shield? It's baffling.
Meanwhile, Keanu would love to, again, I think, target like, now, again, he's been saying he's targeting like Ashley, Mickey, Morgan. And he had that conversation with Ashley where they were like, hey, I'm open to not putting you guys on the block. And Ashley was like, I've also been thinking about not putting you on the block. And so, I assume that's still the direction he would go. I don't think he would take a shot at Vince. He did talk with Vince about the Unexpendables again. I don't think he fully trusts Vince still, but I don't think that he's like ready to take a shot like that at this point. So that seems to be where we are heading into the day today, when we'll of course go into the eviction, the blockbuster and the eviction.
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. I think the trajectory of this game, like this HOH is really important for the direction, because I don't feel like we're in a space anymore where they can continue to do Keanu, Kelly, Will as like the nominations. Like I think that a shot will be taken, but it depends on which side, depending on who gets HOH. So I am optimistic heading into this week that we'll start to have a direction, start to have some clear lines being drawn, but you never know.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk throughout the day about how like Mickey broke the seal essentially of like putting up people that weren't just the consensus people, and now everyone can do it moving forward. Which, if true, just means that Mickey broke the seal by taking out one of her own numbers.
Yeah,
exactly. To open the door for more people to put up more of her numbers.
Up there, yeah.
But may also not be true, because the next time somebody wins HOH, they might just be like,
right.
Keanu and Kelly are still here.
Early. Yeah, exactly. They're like, it's too early. We put Kelly up on her birthday week. We could do it again.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see. Anything else you wanted to bring up, Aysha?
No, I think, wasn't there a situation with us? Lauren didn't properly cook some cookies and some people ate them and they weren't feeling too well. I think that was only like subplot that I recall from yesterday.
Lauren, not the best chef. She did have to, and she said, don't make fun of me, so I won't make fun of her. But she did have to ask how to make grilled cheese.
Interesting.
Listen, she's only 22.
Right. She's still figuring out this life thing.
Yeah. But all right, anything else?
That's it, yeah.
Okay. Well, that is what we have for you then today. I'll be live tonight, YouTube and Twitch, to watch tonight's episode. We'll see if Jimmy wins the blockbuster. If not, we'll see if he does anything interesting on his way out. Of course, a very important HOH competition. Word on the street is that we're anticipating a knockout comp. Which could be very bad for the the Rachel and Ashley's of the world. But I believe Rachel has won one of these before as a house pariah. So we'll see if that's any if that's something that could possibly happen.
Imagine this cast just knocks out their allies.
Right. Vince standing up there, seeing Rachel and Ashley and being like,
yeah.
Lauren and Zach?
Yeah. I just went with the names I was comfortable with.
I didn't want anyone to be mad at me. I knew you guys wouldn't be mad at me.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens there. Of course, we'll be live after the episode to recap it all here on Rob Has a Podcast. And check out my book, Behind the Mirror, that I wrote. It was written by this guy, Taran Armstrong. I don't know who he is, but
That's so nice of
I've heard
you
it's
to
pretty good.
advertise a book by Taran. You're really a kind friend.
Yeah. There we by the way, the recap tonight, we'll be joined by Brittany Haynes. So come and hang out with Brittany. We'll get her opinion on Rachel this season and what happens here. I'm sure she'll have plenty to say about the week's events tonight on the recap. And then speaking of, check out the extended interview I did with Adrian. My second interview
Adrian?
with him, by the way.
Yeah, who is Adrian? His name's right there, but I don't see it.
Yeah. One of my favorite interview moments ever came from this interview. Please don't dunk on Adrian for it, but it was just very, very funny. And we also, of course, have a live show in New York. This is very exciting. Live shows are always fun. October 8th, there's going to be a live show for Survivor in New York City. Tickets are on sale now, right now for patrons only at the moment. So if you are a patron, you can get tickets to the live show right now. Also check out the Q&A tomorrow. Rob will be back. We'll be answering some questions again for the patrons. And Aysha, Perfect Match.
We are in the middle of covering Netflix's Perfect Match. It's season 3. A lot of great people are on there from the reality universe, not even just Netflix. Jason Reed, Kirsten McInnes, love Kirsten. We are covering this season of Perfect Match. So our recap of the premiere and our recap of episodes 2 through 6 are out. We will be back to talk about episodes 7 through 9, and then we'll wrap it up talking about the finale. This is a mess of a show, so even if you don't watch the show, just come check out the coverage.
All right. And of course, check out Chat BC. I heard there was more drama in Chat BCC again last night. I don't even know what it is. I just heard about it. People need to tell me these things.
It's way too active. Like, I was able to keep up with the Survivor Chat BCC, once a week. But Big Brother is ever evolving. So it's always active and it's always so many messages. I can't keep up.
All right. So check all of that out. And I think that's about it. Anything else, Aysha?
Yeah, y'all can follow me on all social media at Aysha like Aysha. It's AYSHA like ASIA, just to see what I'm up to.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining me here this morning, and I will see all of you next time.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.